Time to get started. So welcome everybody. And I just want to say good evening and welcome. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules and everything to join us tonight for this fun event. Really, your commitment to investing this next hour with us is really, truly appreciated by all of us. My name is Michelle Lucasen. I am the chairperson of the Membership Engagement Committee, or the MEC. Really, the job of the MEC is establishing connections within the iSpan community itself. We orchestrate such events like this, which serve really as informative platforms to address your inquiries and your concerns and the questions that frequently come up. Our dedication really extends to curating content across the iSpan social media landscape. So for any of you that have Instagram and Facebook and haven't started following us yet, I would really encourage you to do so. We really have it, well, with Facebook and Instagram, it's really just an excellent avenue to really find out what's going on throughout the year, staying engaged through iSpan, all of these fun events that we have, and really just finding out even important information on the upcoming annual meetings. Additionally, the MEC sets up events really that help support the Plastic Surgical Nursing Foundation, or the PSNF. As a non-for-profit entity, iSpan is really committed to supporting nurses through scholarships and hardship grants as well, scholarships through iSpan throughout the years, including a CAMS exam, and then I will be sitting for my CPFN soon. So I really encourage everybody, if you haven't checked out the scholarships moving forward, really, it's just amazing at how much we give back to the members of iSpan. One really cool thing we did this year was the first ever fun run. It was a collaborative effort, and it actually raised $2,300 in our first year for the PSNF. So stay tuned for our 2024 date and all that entails, which we will have more information at the meeting. We also secure donations for iSpan meeting raffle tables to be auctioned off as well, and the money going right to the PSNF. A large part of the MEC's role is to promote really awareness and knowledge about the iSpan Association. Many fellow nurses in our realm remain just really unaware of the specialized organization tailored to plastic, reconstructive, and aesthetic nursing. Having a nursing organization that is designed to provide you with the most current, scientific, and peer-reviewed research is really a cornerstone to advancing nursing practice in the plastic and aesthetic specialties. Also, in tandem with iSpan, we also have the Plastic Surgical Nursing Certification Board. So many acronyms, so bear with me here tonight, or the PSNCB, to discuss new changes with certifications, which is one of the focuses of this evening for us. Recent times, we saw the PSNCB attaining national accreditation from the Accreditation Board for Specialty Nursing Certification, or the ABSNC, a huge achievement in itself. All in all, what this means is the certification that you get through the PSNCB is a really, really, really big deal. Joining us this evening are guests that are going to dive a little deeper into CPSN and the CAN certifications. It's also discussing and talking about why they're important to their practices and their clinics and everything that goes in with that, and really how to obtain, renew certifications, as well as new rules that have been implemented since last year. So just a few housekeeping items before we kind of start with listening to our speakers and kind of getting some awesome information from them tonight. I will be facilitating the Q&A after all of our guests have spoken tonight. So please, if you want to utilize the chat to the right of your screen and enter your questions, and then just know if we don't have time to get to all of your questions tonight, we will provide the PSNCB email address for follow-up, and we'll put that in the chat for everybody. So to start kind of the first person here, I want to start with the iSpan president, Jerry Obie. Jerry is a nurse practitioner and owns OB Bioaesthetic Institute in Jacksonville, Florida. Over the past decade, she has held positions in several of the major aesthetic corporations, serving as an educator and physician liaison, providing clinical and scientific support for various products. She is also an international trainer. She trains the trainers as well as the master injectors, both nationally and internationally. Jerry has trained thousands of aesthetic providers globally over the past decade, as well as providing innovative aesthetic care for countless clients in private practice for over 35 years. So in addition to everything I just said about Jerry, she also teaches the CANS review session that is offered at every Iceman annual meeting. She was also a part of the team that created the CANS examination and the study materials that go along with it. So needless to say, she's definitely an expert. So welcome, Jerry. Oh, I'll have you, take off of mute.
You would think this was my you would think this was my first rodeo, right? I'm actually cheating. I'm doing it on my cell phone. I usually do it on my computer. Thank you for that. I am privileged and honored to be able to mentor and provide support and guidance and education to anybody who is interested in getting their certification. And we're so thrilled to be able to have the review course to offer. And now that the course is online and the test is online, we don't have to wait to only do it once a year at the meeting. So ask away.
Perfect. A couple questions for you, Jerry. What would you say being certified means to you, and what does it mean to your practice as an aesthetic nurse?
Being certified to me means that I've proven that, and I don't mean this to be a slam to anybody, it's not a side hustle. It's my specialty. It was interesting because I was speaking to some of the other oldies like me, and we don't really want it to be called an industry. Industry is the corporate side of it. This is our specialty. We're a specialty in plastic and aesthetic nurses, and the certification exam actually proves that we have done the work to be able to be recognized that we are qualified in our specialty.
That's great. One other, I get this question a lot. I'm going to follow up with it because you just had so much help with the CANS examination and the preparation and obviously study materials. You do the review course and everything. What do you think about the test itself? And how much time should someone really prepare for the exam? I think that's the most common question I hear of.
You know what? The timing is very subjective because it just depends on your experience. If you're new to the specialty, I can't imagine, how much there is to learn. I was fortunate when I took the exam years ago. I'd already been in plastics for years, and I'd been a nurse for years. So a lot of stuff, I hate to say it, is instinctive to me. But I will say the exam's not tricky. It's very straightforward, and it's not. The review course is basically the basics, the ground level, entry level to what you need to know to be certified in our specialty. And it covers various areas. So if you're new to nursing and you're new to aesthetics, I would say, the requirements for the exam are couple of years to have been in the specialty. So that's fair. It may seem like we're being harsh. You can't learn this overnight. And people who take a weekend course and think they're prepared is frightening because they don't know what they don't know. And I'm still learning. I've been in this specialty for 40 years. I still learn. I still take classes. it's always being updated. So, at the minimum of what the requirements are for the exam, you should have that many years in practice, and then studying for it, get the core curriculum. The exam they're not trying to trick you. And when I teach the review course, I literally go from front to back of the aesthetics section. I have to tell you that I'm a CPSN and I'm not a CANS. And there's some debate on why not, because the CPSN exam also includes what's on the CANS exam. And so the CPSN was before the CANS exam came out. And when I went to take the CANS, I was like, I even signed up for it and I paid for it to take it, and actually had something personally come up that I couldn't take it. And so over the years, I haven't done it because I haven't felt like I needed both of them. There are some people that do have dual, but if you're CPSN, that actually includes a lot of the CANS information.
That's great information because I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, again, and I love that you just talk about always learning. I think in the nursing profession, right, we're forever learners. There's always something we can learn and move forward, and continuing education is just huge.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Sherry, for sharing your insight.
You're welcome.
Next I have up is Rebecca Seuss. Rebecca is on the board of directors for iSpan, and she also owns her own business, the Refinery Skin Clinic in Burnsville, Minnesota. Fun thing just about Rebecca, I've known Rebecca for many, many years. She encouraged me, I think 2011, when we started working together, to go to my first iSpan meeting. And it really just changed everything and got me motivated and everything. So my first one, that's a fun fact about me, my first iSpan meeting ever was in Denver in 2011, thanks to Rebecca. But so everyone, welcome Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi.
I love seeing all these faces. This is awesome.
Rebecca is actually, does have her CAN certification and her CPSN. So I wanted to know, how long have you had those certifications?
I did my CPSN certification in 2013, and then I did my CAN certification the following year.
Wow, that's awesome. And then the main thing with Rebecca being a business owner, I really wanted to kind of touch on credentialing providers in a practice. So my question for you, Rebecca, is why is credentialing of your providers important to you and your business?
I think it's something that really sets us apart from other practices in the area. It shows that, I think kind of like Jerry was saying, it's something that we take very seriously at Refinery Skin Clinic. We take education seriously. We take what we do seriously. And we always just want to strive to provide the best outcomes and the best results for our patients. And so, really looking at that certification is, when I talk to my patients about it and I kind of go through all of my different credentials on the things, I basically tell them, I'm like, it's just a way to prove to you as a patient that I take this really seriously. I nerd out over this stuff so that I can actually take special tests just to get these letters, right? So it's really just a way of saying, it conveys to my patients that I take this very seriously, and that I want to continue to educate myself every day.
Perfect. Well, that's great. So thank you very much. I just wanted to get the business owner kind of perspective and that kind of part of it. So thank you. I have up next Nicole Sorensen. Nicole works as a charge nurse for Edina Plastic Surgery in Edina, Minnesota, and currently studying for the CPSN, right, Nicole? And
That's
then
correct.
Perfect. And then Nicole is also part of the membership engagement committee this year. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole, is this year going to be your first iSpan meeting?
It's not actually. So I actually Yeah, I actually went with Rebecca back in 2013. Yep, Rebecca and I go way back to when we worked in dermatology together. And then I took some time off. And then my most recent one was actually last year. So
Oh, perfect.
back into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
good. So, being obviously a charge nurse in a busy OR setting and stuff like that, I kind of wanted to just touch on how does continuing education and the credentialing for your staff impact your overall healthcare setting?
Yeah, I mean, I, as a charge nurse, if my nurses don't have, the certification or the CEUs and things like that, I am really big, especially this year for our staff, is education. So education is really huge. So if a lot of my nurses that are coming on, whether they've been with me for a couple years or they're new with me, one of the things that I just let them know about is iSpan. So I really try to get them to be a member of iSpan. I kind of let them know that, there's education there, there's CEUs available for them, whether it's, through the journals, through Medscape education. I really try to not push on them, but let them know that what's really nice about our facility is our doctors. I work for privately owned practice in Edina, Minnesota. We actually pay for our staff to go to stuff like this and for education, which is really nice. So I really try to get them to go to iSpan. So myself and at least one of my other nurses is going this year. So I'm really excited about that for her. Just having, the CEUs, the additional specific education, the hands-on training, the workshops, networking opportunities. Overall, I just feel like iSpan, the CEUs, the going to the conferences, it really just improves the nurses' knowledge in the specific specialty of cosmetic and aesthetic nursing. The additional training, education, credentialing, and plastic surgery really help to provide exceptional care to this specific patient population, along with excellent communication, organizational skills, strong attention to detail, compassion too, and just dexterity. So I've enjoyed, granted, I haven't been for many years, but I'm excited about, being more involved in this area and being a part of the membership community.
That's great. I love that you brought up the amazing thing that your employment does of bringing, and really providing their staff with that. I mean, that's a big deal, as a provider to be able to attend those as well and have the support really of taking the time off and doing those things from your place of employment. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and we really promote CEUs and stuff like that. Like we want our staff to do it while they're clocked in or while they're on the clock. So this, education is huge in addition to obviously, working as a nurse every day. So we really huge promote that education and getting that certification too, which is even better.
Yes.
So,
That's awesome. Well, good luck on your CPS then.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for sharing that insight on that, the field that you're specifically in.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I think Michelle McCullough is now on the call. I think I see you. Michelle McCullough, perfect, also sits on the board of directors for iSpan and currently works as a nurse practitioner at Brigham Women's Health in Boston. So welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining.
I am not an NP though, so I don't want to take those.
I thought you were are you in school?
With school. I got my master's in nursing leadership, but no, I did not my NP. God love you all that are NPs and going to school for that. But I am done with school.
Done with the master's.
Yeah.
So you are CPSN, correct, Michelle?
Yes. Yep.
So how long have you been certified?
So I was thinking about that today, and I am coming up on my third recertification. Going through that process right now. And Lisa, I watched your amazing video on how to recertify and all the things that you need, because you do kind of forget, what you need to have for recertification. And Lisa has, in the whole God, I'll never say the certification team there has a great video on certification and how to recertify as well as certify. So it's been 9 years.
Wow. That's awesome. So I have a couple questions for you, Michelle.
Sure.
How has it helped your practice as a plastic surgery nurse having that CPSN?
So one of the things that it's really helped with is because I work at an academic institution, we have so many like restrictions and policies and everything, like I's needed to be dotted and T's crossed, and we don't have the luxury of like working in like private practice where we can kind of make some of our own like, not to say rules, but like you have a little bit more freedom to kind of, you know, more like almost autonomy to do some work. Where before I started working in plastics, the nurses, there was only one nurse in the department, and there's still only one nurse in the department, that's me. Though we've expanded to like, I mean, our practice has tripled. We, you know, I don't even know how many surgeons we have now, but there's still only one me. But so they want, when our chief came in, she wanted me to start doing the tissue expander fills. And that was something that was never done in the office before. It was only the PAs or the surgeons doing them. And so we actually had to kind of push for that approval. And so we had to create a policy. And so when we created the policy, we made it that anyone who's doing these tissue expander fills that are nurses needed to have a certification for my CPSN. So, or at least going towards it. So that was a kind of a nice thing that we got to do, is put in there that, you know, you need to be, you know, the nurses need to be certified. Hopefully we'll eventually get more nurses in our practice, but we did just have to renew the policy. I think it's been like 3 years since we started that. And so I just had to go through the policy and just update it. But that's one of the big things. Like I have that in, like we have it in writing, it's policy, and you know, that, you know, nursing can do the tissue expanders, and then you need to be certified.
So that was kind of, yeah, that was the kind of gearing towards that second question I was asking you about. I was going to ask you about creating that policy, because it just, I mean, just because of you having, you know, the certification, you were able to expand, you know, the scope of practice, which is amazing.
Which is great. No, it's great. And, you know, I know other people have been doing it, you know, for years, but I'm like, it took a long time to get this approved, which is ridiculous. Cause it's like, I mean, we're nurses. We can do this. Like, you know, you're accessing a port for like chemo. I'm like, why can I not do basically like the same thing? Like, I don't know. Anyway, but we got it done, and it's done, and we have it, and it's all approved, and I've been doing it now for a long time.
Awesome. So with you saying you're the only one, are any other nurses that you know kind of going towards their certification then for those purposes?
Well, they're not hiring any nurses in my department right now, which is such a bummer. But I don't know, like with so Brigham has really, they've you know, we're always kind of part of Partners, which is like a big healthcare organization, and they've really have changed. They're really trying to get Mass General, Brigham, Brigham Women's to be more of one. And so Mass General has some different policies than we do, but there are nurses in their clinic. So, you know, that could eventually be coming down the line of having those nurses to make sure that they're certified. So I actually plan, I should reach out to them to find out and make sure that they're certified. Because I know the nurse practitioner over there was involved in ISPAN for a while, and then she had twins. So she was kind of a little busy, but I think that's actually probably a good idea for me to do that, since our policies are going to be interchangeable.
Well, I'm so glad you were on the call tonight because I know you were going to the Jonas Brothers concert originally.
Oh, I was. I know.
And stuff, but I really, really love the fact of you sharing with the policy changes and how having a certification can, really help patient outcome and those types of things. So it just proves how important all of this is, and that continuing education and being certified really helps overall patient outcomes and expand your scope of practice.
Yeah, it's great.
So
I love doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm in this attire. I just came from a tennis class, so I apologize for getting on late.
You are just fine. So thank you so much for sharing everything, Michelle. Last but not least, I have Lisa Griffin up next. Lisa is the president of the PSNCB, so the Plastic Surgical Nursing Certification Board. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, Lisa, about kind of just some things that have really changed, and this is a little bit of the focus because so much has changed over the last year. So welcome, Lisa. So thank you. I know it was short notice, so thank you for coming on this Tuesday night and taking time out of your schedule to be with us and educate us.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Would you be able to speak? What I hear a lot about, or what I've heard a lot about even at last meeting, was if you would be able to touch base on kind of the new rules around nurse practitioners being able to be CAN certified.
So the change that's happening is that with the rules changing, more nurse practitioners having full practice authority, we had to kind of adapt the requirements for the CANS exam. Prior to the changes being made, it was standard for everybody, whether it was PSNCB, or sorry, ISPAN, long day. The certified plastic surgical nurse, or CANS, the requirements for how long you've been working, the number of hours you were working, the providers you were working with, all of that was pretty much the same. With the nurse practitioners in the aesthetics field, though, many had not been applying to participate because they were not working with a core physician, or they didn't feel that they need the supervision. And since that's required, it was kind of a hard stop for them with the applications. So we put a task force together. We worked with Tracy Hada, so we were involving the Canadian nurses as well, because they're in a similar situation with their nurses. They have more practice authority and don't necessarily have to have a physician on site with them. So we came up with requirements that are going to be across all states, territories in Canada. We can't say it's one way for Arkansas and another way for Georgia, because their state requires slightly different things. We have to have it standard. It's got to be the same for all. So if you truly want to be certified, you'll go that extra step and meet those requirements. So what we're requiring at this time is, if you don't work with a board certified surgeon or core specialist, and I know you'd asked what the cores were. It's plastic aesthetic surgery, ophthalmology, dermatology, or facial plastics, ENT. So we've seen a number of packets come through where the provider that they were associated with, their medical director, was a gynonc or a gynae provider, or family practitioner. So that in there does not meet the requirements. So then we looked at, well, what if the individual had another CANS certified nurse practitioner that could support their practice, somebody that they could work with if they had issues they wanted to run by, things like that. So that has been put into play. And as part of that, they would need to have a letter from that individual supporting their practice, recommending them. The one thing that wasn't made clear last year was you can't be in California and have the nurse practitioner be in Boston. It needs to be somebody who's in the same state where you are, that's licensed to work in that same state as well. And that also goes for having a provider that they refer to. So it's fine if they're working independently and they.
Oh, Lisa, you're muted. There we go. So,
Don't know why it's doing that. Sorry.
okay.
Where did you lose me?
Probably about a minute ago, but talking just about the changes with the referring physicians and such.
Okay. So if they're working on their own, they still have to have a core specialty provider who they can refer to if they've got an urgent situation, emergency comes up that they didn't anticipate. It doesn't have to be somebody that's necessarily on site or that's their medical director, but somebody that they have that contact with who will accept their patients so that they refer to. And the other piece is they need to be somebody who is within a reasonable distance and can provide timely care in an urgent situation. So again, you wouldn't have your practice in California and the person who's supporting your application as being in another state. They'd need to be within your proximity. So we are trying to tighten that up on the information to make sure that everybody's following the same guidelines. As far as collaboration, I know that's been a question. For a collaborative physician to oversee a practice, it's providing supervision, it's providing guidance, being available to consult. Collaboration implies that there could be some on-site or direct oversight. Supervision does not define the scope of practice for the professional in the fields. It's that they have a specialized body of knowledge, skill, and competency. The collaborative relationship is the process that we're looking at for the nurses to be working with a physician. Again, it can be in their presence if need be, or it can be remotely. But it's so that we can be delivering healthcare services within the scope of the practitioner's professional expertise, and that they have the ability to reach out when they need it. And this is all for patient safety. That's got to be the utmost importance for us as we're, trying to promote the skill, the abilities, the experience of our specialized group of nurses and nurse practitioners. So that's our driving focus, is making sure that this is going to be safe. So for that reason, we're insisting on those two extra pieces, even if you are in this state where you're able to work freely. Part of the application process, the individual does need to provide the information for their particular state. So they're letting us know they know what they're allowed to do, what's within their scope. We're from all different places. CNET, that's not their job. So they need to have that information provided to them so that we can vet it and make sure that, yes, you do meet the criteria. Because not all states do have full practice authority. Some have partial, some have restricted. So we need to have that information provided to us up front. So the packets are actually going to be revised, hopefully in the near future. The CNET staff have been attempting to write up new recommendations for the wording of the packets. So there'll be one for the RNs, one for the nurse practitioners, and that will hopefully clarify it a little bit better. They've had some challenges recently, so that's been put on the back burner for them, but it will be coming down the pipe. So for right now, CNET is certification, sorry, the Center for Nursing. Sorry, I don't have their acronym on the tip of my tongue, but they're the ones that issued the exams. So when the applications come in, they review them all. If there's questions or concerns with them, they send them on to us so that we can weigh in on whether we feel the person should be asked to wait till they better meet the criteria, whether it's hours work, things like that, or whether we feel that they have met the guidelines based on the information, and then they're given the letter to say that they can go ahead and sit for the exam.
Okay. One thing just to kind of clarify and just back up a little bit with, the nurse practitioner. So the best advice would probably be to find out what your rules and regulation and all of that stuff is in your state, correct? Because then that falls to find out how to practice and all that before. So they kind of start to know that they might have to have that letter from a referring physician and so on to move forward.
They're going to have it.
Okay.
Yeah, one way or the other. If they're working with someone who is board certified in one of the cores, that's a no-brainer. It's going to be very simple for them. But if they've been working under, like I said, a primary care physician or a gynecologist, we've seen all different, then they do have to have somebody else to represent them, to say that they'll support them in their practice.
Perfect. And even touching base on the, collaborative physicians or, or the core physician, that it falls under that umbrella. I mean, because there's so many, like you're including dermatology, you're including, oculoplastics and that stuff. That's a big step to even have that broad of core specialties now, because write me if I'm wrong, it was just plastics like back in a while ago, right? It was just had to be a facial or a full body plastic surgeon or so on. Like it didn't have this many core specialties. Is that correct?
Well, I'm CPSN. So for mine, I've always had those options. And the CANS one, I'm not positive whether it was different when they first came out with it. I think that was around 2000. Sorry,
Yeah,
was that Jerry?
No, it was different. And we realized that we needed to, oh, sorry about that. I think I'm muted again.
Nope,
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So we realized that, we all had to learn how to play in the sandbox, and the physicians were collaborating, and we have great opportunity to learn from the other specialties. And because it is an aesthetic specialty, they opened it up to the core. So that's why even at our meetings, we, if you're not that core specialty, they're not going to be speakers at our meeting, because we want to make sure that we're using people who aesthetics is their specialty. I know that a lot of people do it, but we want to make sure that for our purposes, for oversight, that we have people that, physicians, that their specialty is aesthetics. They're not just doing it on the side. They've done a residency or a fellowship, and they have to have national certification in their specialty as well. And it actually has to be for certifications are confusing all the way around, because you can get certified by somebody who sells you a certificate. It can be literally a business. So PSNCB and ISPAN split. They used to all be under one umbrella, and we realized it was a conflict of interest. Lisa is the king of her castle. I don't tell Lisa how to run PSNCB. I can talk to her, we collaborate, but we do have a member from our board of directors. Christy Elliott is an ad hoc member on that board, but it's to keep it so that we stay very specific. And I know we offend some people because they can't join, but it is what it is. Our doctors who we have affiliations with, they're board certified in their specialties, And those specialties are recognized. There's only 22 that are recognized by the American Board of Medicine. Believe it or not, even if they say they're a cosmetic surgeon and they're certified in cosmetic surgery, we don't take that because that's not recognized by the American Board of Medical Specialties. So it gets very confusing.
And Jerry, when was the first CANS exam? Do you remember what year?
I'm gonna say it was like 2010, 2009 or 2010. I remember Haley Wood taught the original review course. And then after Haley taught it for a little while, Hermine taught it. And then I inherited from Hermine for several years and probably be passing the baton eventually in the future because the exam needs to be updated. And I can't teach the review course and help write exam questions. So it's debatable what Lisa wants me to help them when they get to that point. I will have to give up doing the review course, although I love doing it. It's very special to me to be able to do that. And I know how important the review courses were for me when I took the exam, and because that's a big book, and to have somebody kind of run through it and actually have somebody to ask questions to was great.
That's so true. I just know when I joined the board back in 2017, the requirements as far as who could be a core physician has been pretty much stable since then. So that's why I wasn't sure when that had changed, if it had. So thank you.
Great. And then with Jerry, I love your passion, Jerry. It's just so exciting about how teaching everything and stuff. I just love it. But how you talked about the core curriculum book, which I love. So I know there's been some talk on some of the forums and stuff like that on, I think it was Amazon that was having like a book and stuff like that. Do that.
Yeah, that was bad because somebody actually wrote it themselves and decided to put it online, and it confused a lot of people. I think we actually have a disclaimer on our website now that is not an acceptable book. It's the core curriculum that you purchase from iSpan. And honestly, if you know that book and you study that book, the exam is very fair. It's not tricky. It's just like taking your nursing boards. It's intimidating. And when I took it, it was pencil and paper, which it hasn't been online that long. But it's just like taking your nursing exams. If you know your material, it's not a hard exam.
And just to inform everybody too, since, not the paper and pencil anymore, right? I took my certification last year, and you actually get to find the results right then and there, which is amazing as well.
Right. Not having to wait 6 weeks.
Exactly. Exactly. Have that just anxiety. But also fun fact about the core curriculum books at the meeting this year too, we raffled quite a few books off with some different baskets that include the core curriculum books. So definitely if you're going to be at the meeting this year and interested in getting certified and really kind of diving in, definitely check out the raffle table because it's really, really nice. And then otherwise you can go on the homepage and everything. Rebecca was nice enough to attach the link right in the chat button too for purchasing the study materials as well. One thing I do want to ask Jerry, or at least I don't know, whoever can answer this for me, just because how many questions are in the exam for both? Do you know?
I think it's in the book. It tells you how many. I don't know.
I want to say it's
offhand.
around 175 or so.
Okay.
And a certain percentage are test questions once they're tried.
Our other teacher's on the line too, if she knows. Christy teaches the CPSN exam, and I tease her all the time. I'm like, so that's why I don't get my CANS, because the CANS test is easier review because the CPSN is the entire book. I only have to review the last few chapters.
Sorry, I can't figure out how to work my video today.
Yeah.
There's 175 on the CPSN.
Thanks, Christy.
Sure.
Perfect. And then, well, thank you, Lisa, so much. I have 2 follow-up just questions for you, which somebody already asked in the chats, because I thought it would be really fun to kind of end with everything you've been talking about. So we were wondering, how many current CANS nurses do we have? And then how many current CPN SN nurses do we have?
So as of right now, there are 529 that are CANs. And I know as of July 17th, it was a slightly lower number, 355 of them were ISPAN members, which is awesome. 166, surprisingly, are non-members. And there were 4 that were in the CANS R or retired status. So we've had a few more add on for a total of 529. I'm not sure whether they were more ISPAN members or not. For the CPSN, we currently have 251. And of those, we know of 175 that are ISPAN members, 47 are non-members, and there are 28 in the CPSN R category.
Awesome. I love those. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for coming tonight and kind of sharing all of your knowledge with everything and the new things that are happening. So I appreciate you and your time and sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Before we kind of start a little bit more question Q&A portion, if anybody has anything, I'd like to get all of you guys thinking a little bit about some additional topics that you'd like to hear about in the future for events such like this. It can be anything like joining a committee, right? Or what committees are available to be joining through ISPAN. Even things discussing the annual meeting, whether it be workshops, those types of things, or also how to write a journal article for the journal. So I kind of want you guys to just think about anything that you guys would like to hear about, so we can kind of get some really good ideas kind of moving forward to keep up with some of these educational opportunities. But we'll kind of start kind of the Q&A for the remainder of the time here. And then again, if we can't get to anybody, or if you are done and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to answer this, I will pop I'll actually pop it in right now, the email as well, to have any questions answered. So one from Trisha is, and then Jerry, Lisa, anybody feel free to jump in on any of these. Where is the how to certification by Lisa? Is it on our ISPAN website? I know
It's on the PSNCB site. If you go to the homepage where it says get certified in the CANS or the CPSN, if you scroll down, I don't know if you can see this. Where's my camera? It's down at the bottom. The link's down here. Okay.
Awesome.
So hopefully that's helpful.
Yes. And then Kathleen asked, are there any Canadian committees?
They're not specifically Canadian, but we are getting more and more Canadians involved in our whole society. So even though, and we don't segregate, if that's what you're asking, everybody works together, and it's been amazing. Tracy Hata, as you know, or may not know, is she's a past president when it was ASPSN, and she has been bringing a lot of people to our meeting, and we have a lot of Canadians coming, and we want more because it's an international society. We also have a couple from Australia. If you know Mike Clegg, he comes. We're getting some from the UK, and you know, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. It's wonderful because it does make you feel like you already know people, and I think it makes them feel comfortable to come to our meetings. And yes, Michelle said our meeting's in Toronto in 2026. We had to cancel it during COVID, so we get to go back in 2026. Thanks, Michelle.
Perfect. And then I don't know if anyone saw in the chat, Jerry graciously talked about anytime anybody has any questions on study questions or anything like that, she put her email in the chat. So always feel free to reach out to her, or if you're attending the meeting this year, I would definitely encourage, whether it be CPSN with Christy Elliott or the CANS with Jerry, to definitely take advantage of those review courses. They really do make a huge difference. And Christy and Jerry are they just have the passion there. So they are always willing to help you and answer all of your questions. So let's see, anybody else has a couple questions here? Yep, from Marissa. Yep. So how is iSpan kind of getting the word out there, and what can we do to help spread awareness? I mean, we try to do our best with social media, like, again, Jerry, love-hate relationship, right? But social media really kind of that's an easy way to bridge that gap a little bit, with showing that there are certifications in our industry, and there's our support. There are non-for-profits, right, that really give back to all of us. Like we talked about, the scholarships, the hardship grants, and those types of things. So I can't stress enough iSpan and being a not-for-profit organization. Spreading the awareness is, the meetings have become very, very big. I want to say we've just been seeing more and more new attendees at the meetings. So the more we all talk about it with each other, talk about it on social media, get others involved with continuing education, doing these events, talking about it, will really just help spread the awareness. Like I think Jerry mentioned it, there's so many nurses out there and stuff that talk about, yeah, I attended this, and I got a certificate of attendance and stuff, but not really understanding that there really is a certification for our specialties for plastic and aesthetic nursing. So really just talking about it more. I know Rebecca, as an Allergan trainer, really talks about it at her trainings as well, to help spread the awareness and get people involved, because at the end of the day, we're all here to support each other, right? So really talking about it is going to be the best thing. Of course, we'll have the social media and those aspects of it, but that's why we're really trying to kind of, even on our homepage of the iSpan, not just in our members only area, but on the homepage, there's a video on there even from last year that is accessible just on the homepage, that interviews a lot of the people who were attending last year and the importance of everything. So I don't want everything to be just members only area. So like this video tonight will be on the main page of the iSpan thing. So really sharing everything and just educating your colleagues and your peers. And I think just talking about everything is going to be the best thing.
I just want to jump in and say, Michelle McCullough had created a trifold folder. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I'll make this quick so that you don't have to hear them. The trifold folder or handout that's on the iSpan site as well, that I'll link here. But that's something too you can just keep in your workplace, like in the break room or whatever, for people to be able to see and get some information on that too.
So I want to share one thing with you all about the meeting. And it actually brought tears to my eyes, because this is something that I have been passionate for and working for years. Being an MSL for several companies over the past 15 years, I attend a ton of meetings. And a lot of them, like Michelle was saying, they're for profit. I think that's the biggest message that we need to get out. And I've been working really hard to get out, is we're not for profit. Who else lets people come to their meetings for free? We do. If you apply for a scholarship, we have a lot of money there. We don't get applications, believe it or not. We're like, ask us for money. We'll give it to you. All you guys do is write a letter and tell us why you want to come. We want you there. If you want to take the review course for CPSN or CANS, ask for a grant. You'll probably get it. Pay for the test. Ask for a grant. So when you come to the meeting, what brought me to tears was so many people told me that they felt at home. And I remember being asked, well, what's the dress code? We don't have a dress code. You will see literally everything. And I have to tell you that when I go to the meeting, I am so excited because I don't go out shopping for a new outfit. I go in my closets like, what's comfortable? What can I wear? It's not a fashion show. Are there people that love to dress up? Yeah, there's a lot of designer bags and a lot of red bottom shoes, but there's also a lot of people with kids and leggings and sweaters and whatever you want. We just want you there. We don't care what you have or what you're showing us. We just want to, we want to be there to be a group and be there as a support and make people feel comfortable coming there to learn. That's it.
That's perfect. So, and then even Michelle McCullough, yep, she received a free registration many years ago as well. So that's why, like Jerry said, there's scholarships. So please just enter and think about that in the future to get to the meeting and do that, because like Jerry said, there's money there. They want to give it away. So write your essay and, just apply, because, it happens. I got the CAN certification, reimbursed. I got the meeting covered one year. So it really is, we can't stress enough the not-for-profit organization, which is great. And then from Suzanne, the recertification requirements require several variables. Can you explain the difference in CEs, CEUs, and AMAs, which are required?
So CEs, it's your contact hours. So ones that are provided through a nursing entity. AMA are ones you earn through a physician or medical-based program. With the AMAs, we are, is it APRA? You're allowed up to 15 in the core specialty area out of the required 30. If you go to our meetings, you can get anywhere from typically 20 to even 30 credits. So one, possibly two meetings will give you all you need. But some people do go to other meetings that are provider based, and so they will have some of those. If they earn 20, they can only claim 15. So there are separate columns on the form for that, and it should be pretty clear, but I understand that some people do find that confusing. It used to be that they were all in one, but it just made it that more challenging for the reviewers when they were going through them, and that's why we've separated them out. So total of 45 credits are needed. A maximum can be 15 of the medical based, and the rest have to be in nursing. 2 credits have to be in safety. So a safety credit could be your BCLS, it could be ACLS, anything that qualifies for Joint Commission, for OSHA, those are all allowed.
And then I know with the programs too, for the meeting, those are highlighted, your patient safety credit and stuff like that in the meetings for us. So that's really nice, kind of easy way to find out and make sure you attend those.
So I saw a question pop up from Trisha about, do you have to write an article? Yes,
Nope.
You do. Because we need articles for the journal, but no, I'll let Lisa.
iSpan can require it. We don't require it. But you're right, it's a nice thing to do.
Yes, we're always open to everybody. Please submitting journal articles, please.
We need them.
And the journal with the CEs that are offered in them, that is another thing that for people who aren't members of iSpan or haven't gone to meetings, that's a great place for them to be getting some credits. So that alone is one of the reasons I like being a member of iSpan, because it's a no-brainer. You can go on there and get them if you, for one reason or another, can't make it to the meetings.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. All right. Well, we're kind of a little bit past that hour mark. So if anybody has any more questions and we were unable to get to anything, please, I put that email, copy and pasted that email in there if you guys have any more questions. Jerry's email's in there, offering study questions, all that stuff. But I just want to thank the panelists, first of all, and everybody talking today for taking the time to kind of give us all these amazing tips and taking time from your busy schedule to really help us understand the intricacies of certification. And again, like I said, this will be available on the ISBAN homepage, so everybody can always go back and get your friends to look at it, get them excited about certification. And then the members also will receive an email when this does go on the website as well. But I really just want to express my heartfelt thanks for your presence and engagement. And I really hope to see all of you in Austin this October, which will be coming up very fast.
Can I just share one thing with you? I am open to anybody who has questions that's needing to do their recertification. If they've got questions or concerns about how they're filling it out, if they want to bring that with them to the meeting, I'm sure we can find a few minutes to sit down and go over it and try to clarify any questions that they have.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and your committee.